Welcome back to The Little Game Helper, the show where we take tabletop RPG and give you the quick information you need to get it onto your gaming table. Today we're talking about Fist Ultra Edition, a game about supernatural mercenaries, weird powers, government conspiracies, and punching things that probably shouldn't be punched. If you've ever wanted to run a game that feels like Metal Gear Solid meets the X Files with a healthy dose of 80s action movies, Fist might be right up your alley. What is Fist? Fist stands for Freelance Infantry Strike Team. It's a tabletop RPG about a group of highly trained mercenaries and operatives who take on strange and dangerous missions in a world filled with supernatural threats. You might be investigating a haunted military facility one week and fighting a giant psychic monster the next. And that's assuming your employer didn't lie to you about what the mission actually was, which they probably did. So, how does it play? Fist uses a powered by the apocalypse style system, meaning the game focuses more on describing what your characters are doing than complicated tactical rules. When something is risky, roll 2d6, add the appropriate modifier. A high roll means things go your way. A middle result usually means you succeeded, but there's a complication. A low result means things have gone horribly wrong. And in Fist, the things going horribly wrong is usually where the fun begins. Making your character. Character creation starts with choosing a playbook. A playbook is basically your character's roles and special abilities. Instead of spending hours building a character from hundreds of options, the playbook gives you a framework to create your operative. You choose your character's abilities, equipment, background, and strange powers. And Fist characters can get pretty weird. You could be a heavily armed commando, a psychic operative, a supernatural monster, a bizarre mutant, or something that's difficult to explain to the insurance company. The weird stuff. One of the biggest selling points of Fist is powers. The character can have strange abilities that make them feel completely different from everyone else. Maybe you can control minds, teleport, turn invisible, summon monsters, manipulate time, transform into something terrifying, shoot supernatural energy, do something that makes absolutely no sense, but somehow works. The game encourages players to get creative with their abilities. Combat is fast and cinematic. You don't need to worry about tracking dozens of modifiers or moving tiny figures around a battlefield for 3 hours. Describe what your character is doing, make the appropriate move, roll some dice, and see what happens. And because you're playing a team of elite supernatural operatives, combat can get pretty ridiculous. Shoot the guards, kick down the door, throw a grenade, turn into a demon, hack the computer, punch the demon, hack the demon, you know, military stuff. Why would you like to play Fist? Well, Fist is a great choice if your group enjoys supernatural action, military adventures, weird science, conspiracy, horror, espionage, over the top characters, fast, narrative focused combat, or games where failure makes the story much more interesting. It's especially good for one shots and short campaigns because you can throw the players into a dangerous mission without needing an enormous amount of preparation. Final thoughts on First? First, Ultra Edition is a game about getting a bunch of extremely dangerous weirdos together, giving them guns, supernatural powers, and questionable missions. Then seeing what happens. It's fast, strange, violent, funny, and built around the idea that your characters are probably going to make things considerably worse before they make them better. And honestly, that's exactly what you want from a game about freelance supernatural commandos. And that's it for today's episode of The Little Game Helper. If you're looking for an RPG where you can kick down doors, fight monsters, uncover conspiracies, and yell, "I have a plan," immediately before making everything dramatically worse, give First a try. Until next time, grab your dice, gather your team, and remember, the mission was supposed to be simple, but it never is.